The Sunnah and the commands of Allah. The Sunnah and the commands of Allah. Here it is, Madani Muzakarah.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Wassalatu wassalamu ala khatamin nabiyyin Amma ba'd فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الصلاة والسلام عليك يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا حبيب الله الصلاة والسلام عليك يا نبي الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا نور الله. Maktabatul Madina's booklet Blessings of Salat and Salam, page number 4, saying of the final messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, number 10. Whoever recites salat upon me 1,000 times a day, he will not die until he sees his place in Jannah. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad.
My question in the court of my Honorable Shaykh, the Amir of Ahlul Sunnah, is that at times it has been observed that people end up lying in order to save their blessing from jealousy. So when a situation arises where a person cannot remain quiet and has to disclose their blessing, so how can they save it from jealousy? And how is it to satisfy oneself thinking that I will not tell the truth and lie, which will save me from jealousy? How is it to have this kind of a mindset?
This is a presumption. There's no certainty over here. Nor is there any predominant assumption. People do tell each other that this is how much I earned today. My salary is this much. One shouldn't tell without a need. Evil eye is indeed truth. But to believe that they will definitely be evil eye is not the case. So permission for lying would not be given over here, or else lying would become common in the society. Nevertheless, evil eye is indeed truth. And the evil eye of a jealous person is more dangerous. A sort of a poison develops in the mind of a jealous person due to what he keeps thinking and developing inside him, which enrages and angers him, and he wishes for the ruin of the other person. He can't stand the success and progress of the other person, and the definition of jealousy is seeing someone's blessing and hoping for it, meaning the blessing to be taken away from that person. Jealousy burns good deeds the way fire burns wood, and a jealous person keeps burning in his own fire, and such substances develop inside a jealous person which then come out in the form of rays. And the person whom they are looking at with the sight of jealousy, at times these substances attack them, and when this attack is on, it will result in the person falling ill or being anxious, and it is also possible for the person to lose the blessing, or the person can lose some portion of it. So any of these cases can occur. Now the most dangerous evil eye is deemed to be that of a jealous person. In this context, anyone's eye can affect any person, even one's own selves. A person may like something of his own, for example his own children. Who doesn't like their children? And at times you feel so much love for the children, or seeing their cute habits. One gets more inclined and attracted towards them. So whenever it happens that you like any of your own thing or someone else's thing, then you should say MashaAllah. Now people don't even know how to say this. MashaAllah. This would not benefit at all. This would make it worse. The wrong utterance. So MashaAllah. Tabarakallah. MashaAllahu. Tabarakallahu. Barakallahu. May Allah Almighty give blessings. So say these sorts of phrases. You may say only MashaAllah, even that is fine. With the blessings of this, Insha'Allah, your eye will not harm the other person or their blessing. But people don't have mindset for even this. So always remember that there's a risk for anything good of anyone. For example, how intelligent is Mufti Sahib? He became Mufti in such a young age. Now this is something which we admired, so say MashaAllah. Otherwise, there's a risk for Mufti Sahib that he's serving Islam, and may it not be the case that due to your eye, he falls ill and becomes bedridden. Or, at times, this can also happen that a person may feel a bit anxious or troubled, or he may fall prey to laziness and idleness. the freshness of a person can disappear and he may remain in the state of tiredness all the time, and there are so many other states which he may experience. So say MashaAllah. And even elderly people like us are not safe. Every elderly person will not be a victim. People generally don't pay much attention to those elderly people who are ill and have many diseases. Like for me, people do say that he sits for such a long time despite being at such an old age and so many other things. So I'm at risk from this perspective from all around. So if you happen to like anything of mine, then please look after my well-being and do say MashaAllah or say Barakallah. Only if you like it. Otherwise, what do I possess? I don't have anything at all. But people honor me, respect me, revere me. It is the mercy and grace of Allah. So whether it is an elderly person or a young person, or even if a newborn baby, if you like them, then say MashaAllah. Barakallah. You like something that you own? Say Barakallah. Now to remain safe from an evil eye, so that it doesn't affect and there's no effect of magic, or jinn doesn't capture, etc. No bala befalls, no calamity descends. In our society, bala is deemed as jinn, but bala means calamity, and every calamity is bala. So the general perception in our society is that bala means when a person is seized by a jinn. In this case, people generally say that bala has seized him. That too indeed is bala. But only that is bala, this is not the case. So there's a very beautiful small litany for this. Make a habit of this. Alhamdulillah, I've been acting upon it, and it has many benefits. Alhamdulillah. It's mentioned in hadith, do so with the intention of acting upon the sunnah. It is mentioned in the book Al-Wazifatul Karima, page number 33. Al-Wazifatul Karima are the litanies, the awrad of Imam Ahmad Raza Khan rahimahullah, and his honorable elder son, Hujjatul Islam Maulana Hamid Raza Khan rahimahullah has gathered them in it. So on its page number 33, it is stated that extend the palms of both your hands and recite the 3 kuls one time each and perform dam on them. Then rub your hands on your head, face, chest and your body, back and front as far as you can reach. Then repeat the same the 2nd time and then again for the 3rd time. It's excellence. Insha'Allahul Kareem, you will remain safe from every bala. Start from the front of your body and take it as far as you can take. I even tend to cover the gap between the thumb and the toe on my feet. I even do so on the soles of my feet. So up to where you can reach. Now you've covered the whole front body, this side as well and from here as well. Wherever you could reach. Now you should start again from your head and take it to the back of your body now, to the nape of your neck, your ears, like you do masa in wudu. But this will not be masa as such, but it is a very important part. So make sure you rub your hands upon which dam was performed over them as well. Then up to where you can reach on the back. So do so wherever your hands can maximum reach, but make sure it is on top of your clothes, not inside your clothes. So extend your hands on your body up to wherever they can maximum reach. Some people feel anxious. At times, some people would feel that someone has strangled them at night. At times, it feels as if there's a big burden on you. Sometimes even an amulet gets stuck and people get this kind of feeling. So for all these, you can recite this litany. Some people are used to sleeping upside down. This is not a correct practice. Sleeping upside down is the way of the people of hell. So this is commonly seen, especially the children. We should keep turning them around and teaching them so they get used to it. In sleeping upside down, there are disadvantages from medical point of view as well. There would be extra burden on the eyes if the head is upside down. All frontal organs will experience the same. Heart, liver, lungs, all the frontal organs will suffer. This is an unnatural way which will make all these organs suffer extra burden. So whoever is used to lying in this way has the risk of suffering from it. Some people even whilst eating have quite a strange way where they are half leaning forward. Same practice is followed by some as they write. I read this in a book, especially for those who write. Even kids are seen writing leaning forward. So they should normally be given a kind of a small table or bench, which are normally found for children. And when Using those benches or desks, children will have to sit straight as they are a bit higher. They are very good, as if you don't provide those, children will lean forward. Now what will happen if you write leaning forward? There will be extra pressure on the eyes, and the eyesight will get weak. There won't be much distance either. So the extra pressure on the eyes will make the eyesight weak. Moreover, this will lead to exert pressure on the lungs, which can lead to lung diseases. And the back, for no reason, would remain bent and leaning, which is an unnatural position, which can lead to backache. So 3 diseases were written in the book regarding those children or even elders who write in this manner. So anyone who does so is at the risk of facing any of these 3 diseases. If anyone has this habit, they should remove it. I've even seen people eating in this manner, many of them. Even many among you would be used to it. Try to see next time whether you have this habit. Some people sit on the ground and then eat leaning forward. While eating on table and chair, this situation perhaps wouldn't arise as much, wallahu alam. But then there's another issue in table and chair. A sunnah is to eat while sitting on the ground, with having the dining mat laid out, and the right knee should be raised, and the left leg should be on the ground upon which the person should sit. Or sitting in the at-tahiyat position will also fulfill the sunnah. Those who sit in at-tahiyat position are normally seen eating leaning forward at times, and those who sit while raising their right knee don't get a chance to lean forward while eating, as the right knee itself becomes a blockage for him in leaning forward, and it presses the stomach. Because of the pressing of the stomach, less food would be eaten, which is also beneficial. Filling the stomach excessively is quite detrimental and harmful for one's health. It also increases one's expenses, and everyone is complaining about inflation, and we'll save up as well through less eating. Nevertheless, make a habit of practicing the litany which I mentioned earlier. So it is possible that the feelings of anxiousness stem from a person lying upside down. At times a person sees a frightening dream, because of which he becomes scared later on. Frequent recitation of the litany would be effective. Reading it just once or twice may not be effective and beneficial. Keep reading it. Then no matter if there are attacks of spells, of magic or jinns on you, or if there's any evil eye, Allah willing, if you don't miss out on it and recite it frequently whilst going to sleep, then inshallah you will see its blessings. You see, as they say, nothing will happen to you. This was the practice of the Prophet ﷺ, and the practice that he would perform, how important that practice would be. And as so-called slaves are so lazy, you can make us talk nonsense continuously for hours. But if we are told to recite Salah 313 times, we don't have time. We have hours and hours to sit in the restaurants and engage in futile and useless conversation. But we don't have time for the second dua of Salah. As friends are waiting and we need to go and join them. All Salah offering people are gone, but we are busy in our chit-chat. We can't sit in the dua. Why? Because we don't have time. How long would it take to recite the litany, which I mentioned to you earlier? Hardly 5 minutes. And that too if someone recites it properly and thoroughly. And if someone rushes through, it will be in 2-3 minutes. But it should be correct recitation. The letters should be pronounced correctly. Pronunciation and articulation of letters should be correct. The point of articulation refers to the place from where the letter is pronounced. So the letters need to be correctly pronounced from the point of their articulation. So if you pronounce the letters correctly, you have recited the Quran correctly, then this is a circle of safety for you. It has been mentioned in a hadith, and it is extremely effective and extremely beneficial. Alhamdulillah. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ala Muhammad.
My question in the court of my Honorable Shaykh, the Amir of Ahl Sunnah, is that if someone apologizes to another person and the other person in response says that, "Who am I to forgive you?" So if someone utters these kinds of words, would this be deemed as apology accepted or not? Could you kindly shed some light on this and provide Sharia guidance in this regard?
People do say this. They even say, "Seek pardon from Allah. Seek pardon from Allah Almighty. Who am I to forgive you?" So this is quite a tricky situation, as we can't be sure for 100% whether the other person has forgiven us. They're like, no, you don't need to apologize. And at times it's a very insignificant matter. A matter which requires no apology whatsoever. But still, to be on a safe side, a person apologizes. And now someone says at such instance that you don't need to apologize, there's no need for it. Then it's understandable that seeking pardon was not necessary. Apology is sought only when someone's right is violated, such as the feelings of the person were hurt or he was hurt unrightfully. So, in such a case, a person needs to apologize, and it's necessary to please the other person. So, it seems as if there would be different scenarios in this. And at some times, a person commits such a heavy oppression that even if he apologizes 100 times, it is beyond a person that how would they be forgiven. That's how big the oppression is. And then, at times there are other people involved as well, meaning there needs to be a collective apology from multiple people. For example, someone murders someone. Now he will not be forgiven by only one person forgiving him, provided that there are other heirs and guardians as well. Those heirs and guardians whom the Sharia commands us to please. Or there is qisas, unless all of them forgive him. So all the Sharia requirements will need to be fulfilled, as it doesn't encompass only one person. There was robbery in the house, and wealth belonged to everyone. If only one person forgives, then only his share will be forgiven. The rights of others are still there. So it depends. Now if someone apologizes, one should forgive him instead of beating around the bush. This approach is convenient and satisfactory for the other person. Otherwise, if you're not clear and straightforward, the other person will falsely believe that you've forgiven him, but you wouldn't have, saying that I never said that I've forgiven you.
At times what happens is that the person who's apologizing is of a higher rank. And now he says to the other person that please forgive me, whereas he's a person of high and noble status and is a very notable figure in the society. We have respect, reverence, and honor for him and hold a lot of esteem for him. So for us to say that I have forgiven you is difficult to utter. Even if in our heart is that yes, we do forgive him. And a person out of formality will say to them that please don't say these words, please you don't say these words. So these kinds of statements also uttered at times out of formality. The statements of formality depend on the rank and status of the other person. For example, if a teacher says to his student that please forgive me, and the student says that yes, I forgive you, but don't do this again. Now how can student utter these words?
There's no need to say that don't do it again. Even the common public doesn't need to say this in any instance.
So for him to say that I've forgiven you is very difficult to utter. So if a student says so, or similar kinds of words to his teacher, or a disciple says so to his spiritual guide, or children say so to their parents, do you think that this action of theirs will be okay in any way?
There need to be some signs through which it's understood that they're forgiven.
Yes, in the case I've mentioned to you, it's very difficult to utter these words.
Now what you're saying does make sense. How to say to one's father that Dad, I've forgiven you?
Indeed, how would one say so?
It can also be deemed disrespectful, and other people will not talk good about it either.
This happens when superior people and those of high rank are involved.
It also at times depends on the way of the person seeking apology.
Yes, indeed.
Generally speaking, let's talk about those who are at the same level and don't have much difference between them. There's no superiority among them. People of the same rank, when they apologize to one another, people are like, that's fine, no problem. For example, in general, I'm talking when we are going down the street, we bump into someone or there's a small scratch in the car or on our bike, and people say we're sorry and we're like, it's fine. So when we say that it's fine, would this be apology accepted?
The scenario does show it is. Someone may even say that I didn't even mind it, so there's no question of forgiving. And at times people don't mind it, as people do bump into each other in crowd. So generally it is something which people do not mind. A person can't fly now, can he? If people start flying, they'll bump into each other in the air. This is something which has no solution. A person should not intentionally enter a crowded place where people can be troubled because of him. But what can he do if he's stuck in the crowd? Like during the tawaf. One has to perform tawaf and people bump into each other during tawaf. However, kissing the Hajar Aswad is not wajib upon everyone. Alternative options for istilam also exist. There is the option of gesturing with your palms from a distance and kiss them. So now, to push in the crowd here becomes forbidden. Ala Hazrat has forbidden it. That neither should you push anyone nor should you be pushed. And when there's not rush of crowd and you get an opportunity, then by all means, you should go ahead and kiss the Hajar Aswad, as it is that fortunate stone which was kissed by the Prophet ﷺ. Kissing the Hajar Aswad is an absolute honor, but not in a crowd where other people get pushed. Likewise, if the door of the Kaaba opens, as stated in Bahari Shariat, and people run, which would maybe in the past but not anymore. Now it is only open for those who are extraordinary VIP people. The door of the Kaaba is now open for the kings and worldly rulers. People like us won't even be able to see it at that time. That's how much security there would be. So before it may be used to open, that's why it's stated in Bahari Shariat. So in those days, the door of the Kaaba would open and people would push each other and rush forth to enter it while troubling and harming other people. So it is written that it is impermissible. Deliberately entering a place where you know it's crowded and people will be harmed and troubled because of me, where they will be bumped into, etc. One should avoid this. There's crowd found in Tawaf as well, but Tawaf is a worship. There's a Tawaf that is Fard as well, which is known as Tawaf al-Ziyarah. It is a pillar of Hajj. No matter how crowded it is, one has to do it. During the Sa'i of Safa Marwa, it is crowded there as well. At times people do get bumped into each other over there as well. And this sort of bumping is such which generally people do not mind. Who will complain to who? If you are being pushed from the back, you are pushing someone in front of you and he is pushing someone else. So this cycle of pushing keeps going on in this way. Now if someone deliberately hits with the elbow or pushes or gives stares, then there will be different cases of his committed sins. This was just as a general discussion. So we don't do the things that we are meant to do. If everyone starts reforming every other person, then this society will become Medina. But it is very unfortunate to see that no one does this. It's like mind your own business. Everyone wants the mic. People use social media for their speeches and talks and lessons. Their recordings are going on all the time. They're making it viral. At a new showpiece, they will stand like this with a pose. They will find a tree and what they will do is that they will have a new pose and take a selfie and then send everywhere. If you fall prey to someone's evil eye, then rather than succeeding, you may face different outcome. These are instances where you can fall prey to evil eye. People will generally stand by a nice showpiece, a nice scenery, in nice clothing, all tip-top, and normally they'll be without a beard. Being all tip-top, they will make different poses, have several selfies, and then make them viral all around. So they can catch an evil eye. There's a lot of risk in this for catching an evil eye. And then the calamities that many people face, they don't get where they come from. Try to avoid using social media all at once. You may recover and get well if you're using it. Now let's say I have to deliver a talk, so I will prepare really well. Or let's say I have to recite a nasheed in a gathering. Now I will make sure to dye my beard properly and ensure that it is all presentable. Leaving no stone unturned in presentation, I would arrive to recite nasheed. Now the question is that why did I do so? Oh mashallah, for the respect of the nasheed. For the respect of a Mawlid gathering, even taking a bath is mustahab. Taking a bath for it is mustahab. To attend a dhikr gathering, to attend the weekly ijtima, to attend the Madani Muzakarah. If a person takes bath for its respect, then he will be deserving of attaining reward. He may take a bath or perform wudu. But why do many people do so? Shall I say the truth? Shall I tell you? Shouldn't I? You understood that people are watching me on the screen. Our presentation and adornment is to show to people. And he who did so secretly, without telling anyone, and had the noble intention, who did he do for? For Allah. Who became deserving of paradise? The latter. Not the one who claims to reform thousands while showing off. All his presentation and propagation is for the sake of people, just so that people notice him. At times I become fearful when I remember the ahadith that discuss this subject. I'm also included among them. Thousands of people listen to me, but I don't know what is the hidden decree of Allah Almighty. There are ahadith stating that Allah takes the work of His religion from a Fajr individual as well. Fajr meaning disobedient. So He takes the work of religion from Fajr as well. And that Fajr person has no share in the religion. He did what? He did. People were reformed. Some became salah offering, some adopted sunnahs. Some thieves even became imams. He changed so much that he acquired knowledge and became imam, all through the speech of the person, but he has no share in it. He is disobedient. What a severe matter of fear it is. No one should boast upon that I brought him in Dawat Islami, I reformed him. I enrolled him for Dars Nizami and now he acts as a big scholar. He doesn't properly respond to my salam either. Ask him that who brought him to this. He used to roam around in the streets. I took him and enrolled him in Jamiatul Medina. Ma'adallah. So we should not have this kind of frame of mind. As in whatever happened, whoever was reformed, whoever became salah offering due to my speech, or became pious, or had the honor of completing Dars Nizami, whatever happened, who did this? Allah Almighty did. and He made me a means for it. It is His mercy. We should remain fearful. No one has any kind of measuring tool, neither me nor you, through which we can measure whether the act has been accepted in the court of Allah or not, whether or not the act's beneficial for me, whether or not this action of mine has been accepted in the court of Allah. It will be beneficial only if Allah accepts it. So keep reflecting in this manner. If we keep listening to such talks and keep reading such content and adopt such kind of a company, then inshallah we will keep learning. And these matters are to learn. And you will not find related content every time in the same book at the same place. You will find content regarding a certain topic at several places. After thorough study and bestowment of Allah, when a person listens to the talks pertaining to the same subject and undergoes rigorous study of it, then he develops mindset for it. May Allah allow us all to be so. May you understand what I said, and may Allah make us all sincere. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ala Muhammad.
There's a question that let's say if Hajj is fard upon the husband and wife both, and a wife cannot go on Hajj because of being ill, then would it still be necessary for the husband to go for Hajj?
In case the Hajj is fard upon the husband, then the fard does not entail to do so only with the company of his wife. The wife can also go with her parents afterwards, and she can also go with her brother, or also with her other maharim. For the journey of Hajj of a woman, it is necessary for her to have her husband or any reliable and satisfactory mahram relative accompanying her. In case she lives in Mecca, now she won't need a mahram there. In this case, she can perform Hajj even without a mahram. People think it's only for Hajj, but even if a woman travels alone from Karachi to Hyderabad, she will be sinful, because roughly it is a distance of around 175 or 200 kilometers. For a woman, the company of a mahram in a journey is not related to Umrah or Hajj in any way. Keep this in mind. When the journey is over, the limit which the Sharia has stipulated, then the woman has been instructed to travel with a mahram. There is great emphasis placed on it. Otherwise, the place they stay in, the woman would at times perform tawaf on her own as well. And also to attend the court of the Prophet, the arrangements are different for men and women. Their timings are different. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ala Muhammad.
The Sunnah and the commands of Allah. The Sunnah and the commands of Allah. Here it is, Madani Muzakarah.